Good morning, and welcome. Happy Friday, happy Valentine's Day. My name is Muraro Nematayeni, and today we have our Friday 7 a.m. session. And we have a special guest today. And on today's session, we'll be focusing on myself as an individual. I know the idea of Valentine's is also Jola Jola after the session. But for now, we just want this session to be a gift that one gives to themselves this Valentine's Day. Most of the people, when we're having these sessions or engaging, there's been a trend or an idea that, oh, let's just focus on ourselves. Let's show a little bit more kindness to ourselves. Issues of self-love, self-care, understanding your own body, doing things for yourself, and also doing things by yourself, have come up quite a number of times. And I think it's time that we practice that and we also ensure that before we even say, let's start a relationship with somebody else, it must be a relationship with ourselves. So, just a brief intro from my side, and then I'll hand over to you, Elsie, to introduce yourself, and then Rudzani will do the intro while starting with the presentation. I'm Muraro. I'm based in Thohoyandou, a certified financial planner by profession. I love to collect and connect people. I teach financial literacy. I run a book club. I'm a commissioner with the Commission for Gender Equality. And I am just excited about the year and just being consistent in my goals. I scratch them, I add, I adjust, and the most important thing is I am present in all the decisions that I'm making in my life this year. Over to you, Elsie, if you can introduce yourself.
Good morning, ladies. My preferred name is Mahabo, although both my names appear here. I am from Seshego in Polokwane. I'm a healthpreneur, and I really love these sessions. Thank you so much, Molalo, for the sessions, and nice to connect with all of you.
Thank you, Mahabo, for the presentation or for the introduction and also for letting us know your preferred name. I'm one of those people when they say, do we call you Mlero? Do we call you Grace? I'm like, whichever you're comfortable with, let's go with it. Rudzani, if you can introduce yourself, and then as you do the introduction, I'm also handing over to you to take us through today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, Muraro. Morning, everyone. My name is Rudzani Maboyi. I am a climatology researcher. I can't even say I'm based in Polokwane anymore. I'm just based in Earth because I really love moving about. And today I'm going to share the part of myself that is a yoga enthusiast, right? So I'm going to share my screen. Maybe while I share my screen, Katlego could introduce herself. Muraro, is that okay?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katlego. They call me Dr. K, and I'm a researcher in the academic space, and I'm also an author. I'm also a pastor. I'm also an entrepreneur as well. Thanks.
Thank you, Katlego. Muraro, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. In presentation mode, right?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mahabo, Katlego, and Muraro. So today, what I'm sharing with you is a presentation as a yoga enthusiast. And basically, we're going to look at the backbone of the journey. Like, why am I saying the backbone of the journey? Throughout the Fridays, we've been learning about ourselves, how we can make plans, how we can set our goals. And now we need to get like full force into action. The year has already begun, but we need to make sure that we take care of self while we're going through this journey. So basically, what is a backbone? Scientifically, we can talk about bones, muscles, tendons, all of that from your skull all the way to your tailbone, right? And then when people use it as a saying in a sentence or in a story, it's basically talking about the pillar, like a situation that pillars the house of the story. When they speak about in slang, it's about courage, it's about strength of a character. And if you're talking about a specific individual, as an adjective, they use it as a source of support. That person is the source of support. They're the strength. They're the stability in life. All of those are basically what a backbone is. But physically, our backbone is our spine, a communication from our brain to the rest of the body, communication from the heart to the rest of the body, because the neurons work through the spine and all our veins convey through the spine. So basically, our spine is our support, it's our strength, it's our stability. And we're all guilty of sitting in one of these awkward positions and then later on wondering why we're in pain. Like, my back. But you know very well you've been on your phone hunched over. And you're like, my neck. And you know you've been putting weight on one side of your shoulder than you have on the other side. So today we're going to like fix the posture. We're going to try to regulate ourselves and stabilize how we stand, how we do our normal day-to-day activities without actually changing too much of the routine. Because after a while, you're going to figure out, I'm too hunched over. This is going to give me pain because you're so used to now correcting it. So because we're bosses in general throughout the day. Some of us are desk bosses. We sit all day, we are looking at the screen, we're either dealing with clients, but we are not as active as we would um, as we would rather be, right? As active as we would regulate our body. So here are some desk stretches that you could use when, let's say, you're at the office and you're dealing with a few nooks and cracks there, or you just start doing it as regular as possible. As you can see on the uh, top left one, the lady sitting there is stretching their hands over their head. With this stretch, if you want to make varieties of it, you could move from left to right to elongate the sides of your body. You could but obviously, when you start this stretch that she's doing on the chair on the top left, you have to do what we call a shoulder roll. The shoulder roll is when you move your shoulders into yourself, like you are doing a conclave. You're moving your shoulders forward, then you move them up, and then like right next to your ears, then you move them back, and then you roll them down. So that's what a shoulder roll is. It's in, up, out, and back. With that shoulder roll, it actually starts relaxing your shoulders and putting them in the right position so you do not injure yourself, right? The second one, as you can see, she's bent over, trying to touch the floor. Some people will not be able to do it the very first time, but if you try it one more time, you will see that the more you stretch, the more you elongate your spine, the more you become flexible. So just hunching over and bending, and touching the floor, then stretches the back of your thighs, um, the back of your neck, and all the way to the tailbone. This reduces the tension that you would normally have when you've been sitting for long. So if you can see, look at the rest of them, you can see that the desk stretches are not as heavy. They are light. You can do them anywhere, because the main thing about your backbone, or the backbone of your journey, is that you have access to it at any given time. You're able to exercise that at any given time and relax yourself, your mind, your body, so that you're able to push through without the pain in your body holding you back. So now that we've spoken about those that sit all day, let's look at those who stand all day. Like those who are on their feet. You're either moving about in your agricultural industry, you have to run up and down. You're in the lab, you're on your feet, because in the lab you can't really sit down the whole day, hey? And you are now having a heaviness, a swelling, like at your feet, by your legs, your hamstrings. So with this one, you have to do it on a mat. With these ones, you have to really focus on your breathing. You have to be fully present in the moment so you can feel where the pain is. So the very first pose there on the top left of your screen, you will see a lady doing the cat cow. So the top left and the top center is called the cat cow. Well, when you are seated in the lotus position, this is when your legs are crossed in front of you, and you're holding onto your knees, and you are trying to sort of push back and stretch the back of your neck towards yourself, when your head now conclaves in towards your crossed legs, and then you do the inverse on that, and then you push out your chest, throwing sort of your head back. That is what we call the cat cow. So if you do that slowly, stretching forward and backwards, stretching forward and backwards, to help your shoulders relax. Mind you, with every single exercise that you do on the ones that I'm showing you, you have to do your shoulder roll. The in, up, out, and down, so that you're in a position to feel the full extent of the exercise, of the stretch, of the yoga pose. So when you're done with those ones with a couple of breaths or a few repetitions, you move on to the top right one, which is one of my favorites. It's called the child's pose, because clearly me and resting are good friends. You kneel down. As you're kneeling, if you feel like there's too much tension on your knees, then you can open up your legs a little bit and then sit in the middle of your legs instead of on top of your ankles. And then you fold over and stretch your arms as far as you can. Again, you have to do your shoulder roll before you get into the position. And as you're laying there, it won't feel immediate, any of the changes, but if you stay there for a bit, then you will feel that the weight of your body is stretching your back, having you pulled towards the ground, and you can feel where you need to shift to sort of get a full effect of where the body needs to be stretched. So my favorite thing about the child's pose is that you can actually tilt a bit forward and raise your buttocks to the air a bit. It's called a puppy pose. With the puppy pose, it increases the stretch on the back, on your tailbone. So you sort of have your bum in the air, then it curves you down. With that one, the further you stretch, the further you put your legs apart, the more you get the stretch in your inner thighs. When you move on to the bottom left one, we call it the butterfly pose. With the butterfly pose, it's basically you sitting in a lotus pose, and then you have the soles of your feet touching each other, because you'd be sitting upright. The soles of your feet are touching each other. You have your legs, they're not really crossed, but you have your legs open up, and then you start laying back. Mind you, we always do the shoulder roll. As you're going back to try to have the back of your shoulders touch the floor, you will feel a stretch all the way through your leg. And to optimize this pose, what you do is you flutter your legs like a butterfly wings. You flutter your legs, almost trying to touch the floor with the knees. So the more you flutter, the more you start to feel the stretch in your pelvic region, and it sort of opens up your hips. So the slower you do it, that's when you will feel less of an interruption in your body. And then if you do it faster, that's when you'll get a deeper stretch. But also that needs you to be in tune with what your body is feeling. And so while you're still down there, when you're down with your butterfly pose, if you stretch out your legs, this is what we call the twisted spine, the one in the bottom center. It's the twisted spine. This is basically you trying to re-regulate your body and engage the whole body, because you've been standing all day. The thing that has been working the most is your legs, it's your feet. So with the twisted spine, it's basically you laying flat on the ground, and then having one leg stay straight and taking one knee over the other leg. And then you use your knee to get a deeper stretch. The more your knee touches the ground and you face the opposite direction of where the knee is, the deeper the stretch becomes. This one elongates your spine. It gets the sides of your hips as well. It is sort of a, it's sort of a, the inverse of what the butterfly does. So it heals what you have been doing with the butterfly, because the butterfly focuses on the inner thighs. The twisted spine focuses on the outer thighs. So you get to have your inner thighs resting. And lastly, on the bottom right corner, we have one pose that helps you redistribute or recirculate the blood that has been sitting at your feet. So with this one, if you're not able to balance your feet up, then you can just shift your body next to the wall and then use that wall as a rest. With that one, I am telling you, I usually just fall asleep with my legs balanced on the wall, because it feels so, so good, because you have all of this circulation going through your body with all of the positions that you have done, all of the poses that you have done. So your body is engaged. And by the time that you put your legs up, your pelvic is now resting. Your body is now regulating back to calming down, which helps you if you've had a long day on your feet. And lastly, after being so motivated, so engaged and active in all of your doings throughout the day, the one thing that we need to do is to rest. Rest is vital. If we don't rest, we are unable to give ourselves the chance, the boost to work the following day. So if you have trouble sleeping, or now you've woken up in the middle of the night and you are putting in some work, but then you're trying to get back to sleep and are unable to, these are the poses for you. So with the first one on the top left corner, that's basically you kneeling on your ankles. Like I said, we do our shoulder roll, and then we also pay mind to where our ankles and how our ankles are feeling. So if your ankles are not vibing with being set on, then you slide your ankles to the side and then you sit in the middle of your feet and you rest in that position, doing your shoulder rolls every now and then, taking deep breaths to feel your body, to sort of ground yourself. The nice things about these resting poses is you can do them in bed. It's my favorite thing to do. Lazy yoga, my favorite thing to do, because these ones you can do them in bed. You kneel, you let your body regulate, you take your deep breaths, and then you can move on to the next pose, which is called the camel pose, with the top center one. With the camel pose, as you can see, you are literally moving up from your kneeling pose. You're holding your ankles and then you push out your chest, push out your pelvic, and you're stretching the front of your neck, you're stretching the front of your stomach, pushing out as far as you can, looking up to the sky, and using the hands that are holding onto to the heels of your feet as balance. You give this a little bit of a while. You could give it 8 breaths. You sit down, you do it again, you give it 8 breaths, and then you would feel the benefits of it. You can feel your body is now okay. First, I felt myself, now I'm stretching my front. So we have to do a inverse of it, which is what I call the folded lotus, right? So in the folded lotus, as I introduced the lotus previously, the lotus is when you cross your feet in front of you as you're sitting up. But with this one, you have the soles of your feet touching each other, and then you fold forward. Because with the camel pose, we have stretched the front. This one is going to stretch the back. And then elongate your back. With feeling the stretch in your front and feeling the stretch in your back, we have set on our knees. We have actually stood up on our knees. And now we are doing a sort of butterfly while we're sitting down and folding over. We have stretched the whole body and engaged the whole body to be present and reminding it, hey, me, I want to rest. I have more work to do tomorrow. I need to achieve my goals. So do you feel me? Do you feel me? You engage your body. Then you move on to what is called the cobra pose. With the cobra pose, mind you, I said you can do these in bed. If you're afraid of, I'm going to fall over. With the cobra pose is you laying on your front, basically putting your hands close to your waist and pushing outwards. With you pushing outwards, remember, my only rule is always do the shoulder roll. You do your shoulder roll, you press away from the bed, you now move up, you sort of levitate. With this is basically us doing our camel pose and getting the full stretch on your legs, because we're trying to push out and we are stretching the front part of our body. As you can see, her feet are actually pointed, which helps stretch your ankles as well. This engages the whole body, having circulation being improved throughout your whole body instead of just in one place. So after you've done your camel pose, your cobra pose, you move on to what is called a bridge pose. With this, it's basically the inverse of what a cobra pose is, because now your ankles are at rest, whilst in the cobra, your ankles were engaged and you are pushing your body up from the bed with your palms laid flat, remember? Shoulder roll is very important. You're no longer stretching your front, you're now stretching your back, trying to push your pelvic away from the bed and pushing your palms down towards the bed. You hold this pose with a couple of breaths. You hold this pose trying to free your brain from any other thoughts that you're making, any other plans. And when you feel comfortable, you bring your knees towards yourself. One of my other favorite poses, as you can see, the child's pose and the knee hold are the knee hugging pose are basically best friends. So you give yourself a good hug for everything that you have done. And if you have done your shoulder roll and you can rock yourself from left to right, you will feel the full effects of the hugging of the knees, and your body will start to relax. If you can keep yourself, you can keep holding on to your knees, hugging your knees, you'll feel yourself drifting off to sleep and have a better rest to engage better with your goals, with your visions the following day. That has been me and what I have learned so far in yoga as a yoga enthusiast. Um, Obviously, we have to make sure that we get our medical advices, because this I've done as something that I've taught myself and I'm not fully qualified for it as yet. But please do your research and see if this would work for you. Thank you so much, Murado.
Thank you so much, Rudzani. Practical, doable. I love that. Anyone that would like to share, when you were saying stretch this, stretch that, I'm like, yo, apha kubuhlungu everywhere. So now we are stretching everything. I love this presentation and how it helps us stay grounded and um, committed to the journey that we started when the year started. Anyone that has a comment, your experiences with yoga before or after this session? Any questions you have for Rudzani, you're most welcome to unmute and let's engage. I think you did that thingy where you were like on this pose and then you can rock yourself to sleep and you're like, I fall asleep on this pose. I think people were like taking it literally. I know some of you are still in bed, some practicing these poses as we go along. But oh, with that said, can one of you unmute and then think, oh, Mtali, I see you are unmuted. Over to you.
Yes, I have a question for Rudzani. She kept talking about falling asleep. And so I wanted to find out, is it better to do it in the morning or in the evening? Because it sounds like a nice way to wind down at the end of the day. Meanwhile, I like to exercise in the mornings. But it seems like maybe yoga in the evenings might also be a good idea.
Thank you so much, Mutari. It's a very, very interesting question, this one, because exercise and stretching is actually tailored to you. I might be one that feels, okay, I have a hard time sleeping, so I need my body to feel a little bit tired so I could fall asleep quickly, and then do my exercises right before I sleep. Or maybe you are more of a person that needs to engage the body before you start the day so that you can feel the excitement of what your day is going to be on your body. So it really, I have a feeling we lost Moraro at some point.
Yeah, I was kicked out network in the rain, but I'm here.
We already had a conversation with Matari, and she says I've answered her questions. Unless there's somebody else who would like to unmute and ask a question.
Hi, everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm driving. Sorry, I can't raise my hand. This is Tandy. I want to say thank you to Rudzani. I think I like yoga, but sometimes, I can't follow on YouTube. You find that they speak too quickly or too soft, but I like how you present it. So I will be saving this recording and using it for my daily yoga. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tandy. Please make sure you check the Muraro's social media platforms. She does share the actual recording of the meeting, so you'll be able to go through it again when you need it. I'm glad I was able to help. Thank
Rudzani, Mautua every day. We have to stretch every day.
Well, not really. You don't have to stretch on a daily basis. There's some days when you are tired. You can feel you are frustrated. Your body is like it's not allowing you to be great, and it's even affecting your mood. Sometimes you need to take that moment to go, okay, let me have time with myself, and let me pull myself towards myself. And you could try out these stretches and see how it works for you, because uh, we usually take the externals and we blame our not regulating our emotions and our mind on everything external happening. But how are you able to see a solution when your mind is clouded and it's frizzy? So if you take your time to do a few stretches with deep breaths, clearing your mind and relieving the tensions on your body, you will be able to see properly what you need to follow through with. So it doesn't have to be on a daily basis, but I do advise that you try it out first so that you can feel what you would need to jump into when your body actually does need it.
Okay. Thank you very much. With that said, ladies, to you, Rudzani, thank you for taking the time, sharing this time with us. When we started, I mentioned that this year, mostly it's about doing things for yourself. Even with yoga, you are the one that will benefit. And today it's Valentine's, so happy Valentine's Day, ladies. And hamban your jol. Um, evening enawo umjolo hayi nizobona phambili. Um, yeah, but I just want to wish you well and thank you once again for taking the time to come be with us, and to you, Rudzani, for taking the time to present with us. Have a lovely weekend and let us meet next week. And again, I say, if you have a topic that you would like to cover during the sessions, you're most welcome to let us know, and then pick a Friday and then let's organize. Yeah, but we'll see you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Happy Valley.
Bye, ladies.